Hello, Mary the Avon Lady here. I've been wanting to make a video about this subject for a while, but I just never really had the time to get into it. Tonight I'm going to talk about this subject. The name of the book is called Color Me Beautiful, and this is about your personal color analysis. I was listening very briefly to somebody else's video, and he was talking about choosing the right hair color for you. And what he said in the video was incorrect. Maybe he just doesn't know any better and he's just, going by, what he thinks is correct, but it's not. Um, Last year, about a year and a half ago, I went to a makeup store in the mall. I think it was probably Sephora. I was looking for an item, and the young lady who was trying to help me, she suggested a cool color for this makeup I was looking for, this one particular item. And, I was kind of aghast, like, how could she not know? Obviously, yes, I am fair skinned, but my skin tone is warm. She should be able to tell this by looking at me and looking at my hair color, which, goes very well with my skin tone. She should know that, but she didn't know that. She was, kind of taken aback when I told her, like, no, you're wrong. I'm not cool. I'm warm. Because I think she thinks, much like this guy said in the video, that if you're darker, if you tan, then you are warm, and if you're fair skinned, you're cool. And this is actually not correct. I know it may sound counterintuitive to many people, but usually, um, fair skinned people can be either warm or cool, and dark people can be either warm or cool. But usually the darkest people are actually have cool undertones, blue undertones in their skin. But I'll get into why this is. In the 1980s, this book came out. It's called Color Me Beautiful. And the reason that I know about this book is because when I was very young, when I was 12 years old, in our town, or actually in a town about an hour away from us, there was a modeling school. And, back in those days, we didn't yet have the internet and social media like we do today. Um, so, the world was a little bit different. If you wanted to get into modeling, it was a little bit different back then. And so the modeling school was offering, classes for aspiring models, but they also had like what they called self-improvement classes, which a long time ago, before I was born, they would have called this charm school. I don't know if some of you have ever heard of charm school, but that's where you would go. They teach you how to walk, like with a book on your head. Maybe that's a cliche, but they teach you how to walk, help you choose the right colors, the right makeup colors, the right hairstyle, the right clothing style for you. Teach you how to walk, about posture, sitting correctly, ladylike, how to cross your legs, that kind of thing. That's why they call it charm school. So when I was growing up, they didn't call it charm school anymore. I think that was sort of outdated, but what they had was like a self-improvement class, and the age was 13 to begin. Like it was for like 13 years. I think they had a class for teenagers, basically like 13 to 18 or 13 to 19, something like that. But I was 12, like 12 and a half. And when I went to the school to talk to somebody, along with my father, the lady who interviewed us and talked to us, she said, well, I know you're just 12, but I think that, you're really close to being 13. And she said, I'm not going to put you in a class with a bunch of little kids. I think you'd be better off with the teenage girls. So that's what she did. So they actually made an exception for me, and I got to be a part of this class. And it was a great experience. So they brought in a top hairstylist one day, and he told us about him and his partner, about what hairstyles would look best, according to our face shape. We were told what our face shape was. Um, we were taught things like about posture, how to walk, like taking care of your body, taking care of your skin, what kind of skin type you had, what makeup colors look best on you, hairstyles, clothing styles. Of course, styles change over time, but just, you kind of learn what kind of figure you had. there's like different body shapes. There's like an apple, there's an hourglass, there's a pear. There's different body shapes. So they taught us all this stuff. And then one day they did a color analysis, and actually the owner came in for that. So she was really, um, she had been a model herself. Her name was Millie Lewis, and maybe some of you are familiar with her, maybe not. But she was a supermodel before that term was ever coined. Before anybody came up with that term, she was actually a supermodel in I'd say the late 40s, maybe the early 50s. But she opened her own modeling schools, and I think she died in the early 2000s. But I think she had four of them. She had some in South Carolina, and she had one in Georgia. So I think some of those schools are still around. I don't know. But so she knew her business, and so she was actually there that day when we did the color analysis, and that was when they would drape like fabric over you in these different colors, and they would determine what season you are. And I was told that I was a spring, which if any of you have seen it in my videos, you can see what my skin color looks like, what my hair color looks like. Yes, I'm very, very fair skinned, but my hair, my natural hair color, has always been golden. And anyone with golden hair, naturally golden hair, then that's a warm tone. You're going to probably be a spring or an autumn. Okay, but let's get into the different seasonal palettes, and I'm going to talk more. Like I said, I'm going to try to make this video brief. I'm not going to go through the whole book because that would just take too long, and there's no point in doing that. So basically there's 4 seasons. We all know that without a doubt. There's winter, summer, spring, and fall. And every human being fits into one of those seasons. And if you are a winter or a summer, you have cool undertones. I'm sorry, I've had a cold recently. Blue undertones. And if you're a spring or fall, you have yellow or golden undertones. Okay, so let's talk about winters. Like I said, it may sound counterintuitive, but some of the darkest people on the planet are actually winters, and they have cool or blue undertones. And if you look at the hair, you can almost see kind of a blue sheen to it in the highlights. Everybody's hair, I mean, nobody's hair is flat. We all have dimension to our hair, I guess, depending on what, lighting we're in. You're going to see highlights in people's hair, and typically their hair will have like kind of like a bluish or silverish sheen to it, the highlights. Okay, let's talk about what colors the winters look best in. There are more winters. I'm not going to read all the text, but some of it. There are more winters, and they come in more varieties than any other seasonal type, and this is actually true. Everybody from the continent of Africa, Asia, South America, I'm talking about the indigenous people of those continents, they're all going to be winters, mostly. Even if you're a very fair-skinned person from Asia, if you have naturally black hair, brown eyes, you're a winter. Okay, so it says, Trina is typical of many black winters with deep black, brown eyes, blue-black highlights to the hair. That's what I was talking about. You'll see like almost like a blue sheen, the highlights to the hair, and blue undertone to her skin. Winters are the only ones who can wear black and pure white well. And that's absolutely true. If you've ever seen somebody who looks like Trina, they look good in white. I look terrible in white. I'm fair-skinned, spring. I can't do white. Black is a little bit better on me, but actually I could wear black better when I was younger, but black is not that flattering on me anymore. The older you get. I mean, it doesn't really do anything for me anymore. So when you're younger, you can get away with more things. I definitely don't do just a pure solid black anymore, or white. I just try to avoid white as much as possible. Black, if I'm wearing it like with like gold tone jewelry, or if I have like a scarf or something, then fine. But just black by itself, it doesn't do anything for me. says winters come alive in true, vivid, and icy colors with blue undertones. Note that Trina's sweater is a blue-red. There are no orange tones in the winter palette, and this is true. I don't look good in blue reds. Burgundies, wine colors, Merlot, they look terrible on me, but they look great on winters. Now, I'm going to mention some celebrities that most people will know about. They're probably older celebrities, but I'm not that young anymore, so I don't keep up with the young celebrities these days. I couldn't tell you who half of them are anymore. But hopefully, you will know who these older celebrities are. So think about like Selma Hayek or Penelope Cruz. They're probably winters, especially Selma Hayek. I mean, they look great like in burgundies, those Merlot colors, wine. Yeah, they're winters. They can wear those colors. Now, this lady is also a winter, but look how fair skinned she is. She's got very, very white skin, but look, she looks great in this pure white color. And her skin is very pale, but she's got the dark hair with, you can see kind of almost the blue highlight in it. And she's got these clear blue eyes. Margaret is typical winter with her milky white skin, gray blue eyes, and dark ash brown hair. So people who are winters and summers, they have like a blue or gray undertones to their hair. Note that her hair's blue-black sheen has no red highlights. That's another thing. Some autumns, they can have dark hair, dark brown, but it will have red highlights to it instead of blue. Especially how if we're out in the sun, like for example, if you've got brown hair, you may get blonde highlights, especially if you were blonde as a child. But if you have very dark hair, if you're in autumn, you'll probably get kind of reddish highlights. But winters don't get any natural red highlights to their hair. Okay, and she has white flecks in the iris, characteristic of winters. Here is another winter. She has pink skin tone, blue eyes, with dark gray rims around the iris and brown hair. Although her hair picks up some red highlights from the sun, its basic tone is ash brown. Okay, so maybe they'll get a little bit of red highlights, but I don't think that's typical. Compare these highlights with the true metallic red tones in the hair of Autumn Laurie. I'm not going to click on this because it's going to take me to a different page and I'll have to go back, but I understand what she's saying. You could still see the ash in her hair, the bluish color. Her hair might pick up a little bit of red highlights from the sun, but its basic tone is ash brown. Okay, another thing about winters is that they look great with silver hair. They go gray beautifully. It looks good on them with their complexions. So Frances' hairs begin to turn from black-brown to a silvery gray in her early 20s. Prematurely gray hair is most typical of winters, and winters tend to gray attractively, as you can see. Frances' skin tone is deep rose beige, and her eyes are a rosy brown. Here's another winter. Dark-eyed, raven-haired Pam has olive skin. Although olive skin often appears golden, it actually has blue undertones. Olive skin people and most blacks and orientals have radiant and clear, look radiant in clear, vivid, cool colors, but sallow in warm colors. Sallow meaning unhealthy to yellowish. It just means unhealthy. It's like me. If I put on some colors, they just look ghastly on me. They don't do anything for me at all. So I think colors matter a great deal. Of course, if you don't believe in the color theory and you think that you can wear whatever color you like, certainly you can do that. I remember discussing this one day or bringing it up with somebody I worked with, and she got kind of mad and she said, I think this is just stupid. She said, I'm just going to wear whatever colors I like and nobody's going to tell me what colors to wear. Well, nobody's trying to tell you what colors to wear. We're just People are just saying that certain colors look better on some people than they do on other people. And it's just, and I absolutely believe that to be true. I mean, be honest with yourselves. I mean, have you ever tried on a color that looks great on somebody else, but maybe picked out the same outfit and it or top or whatever dress, and it just looks terrible on you? I mean, be honest with yourself. Okay, most winters have blue or brown eyes, but some have clear green, gray green, or hazel eyes with a gray tone. Young winters often have light brown hair, though it usually darkens with age. So this is another example of a winter with olive skin. She's still a winter. Okay, and these are the colors that look best on winters, and I can tell you right now from my personal experience that colors like, for example, like I already mentioned, burgundy and this I think it says pine green here, but I remember those being two really popular colors long ago, this color combination, burgundy and like a forest green or pine green, and they just look terrible on me. Lemon yellow looks awful on me. I remember trying on this beautiful dress made by Lily Pulitzer several years ago before I became a mom. I was much younger, and it was just so pretty. And I just thought it's just so unfair that I can't wear this beautiful dress because this color doesn't look good on me. And I remember going back to this department store on 2 different occasions and slipping into the dressing room and trying it on because I just really liked it so much. And I remember both times there was the same sales lady who was working there, and both times she told me, actually it was 3 times that I tried it on because I was debating on whether or not I should buy it because I kept trying to lie to myself and tell me that it wasn't bad. I mean, the first time the same lady, she told me, she saw me as older lady, she said, honey, that's not a good color for you, you know. And doesn't that sound kind of counterintuitive too? It's like a sales lady should tell you, oh, it looks great because they want you to buy the dress. But she told me, like, honey, that's not you. Came back another time, tried it on a different sales girl, younger. And she kind of shrugged her shoulders. She said, it's not bad. She said, it's not really popping. But, she said it kind of like, basically she was saying there's no contrast. It sort of blends in with your own skin tone too much or something. But I understand what she meant. And then the third time I came back and tried it on, the same older lady once again, she told me, that's not you, sweetie. I'm sorry, but that's not you. It's really a funny story because it's unbelievable, but I had the same lady tell me the same thing twice. And then she said, wouldn't you be more happy with this color? And she went and she picked out a pink dress. It wasn't a baby pink. It was more of like a slightly darker, not a hot pink, but like a warmer pink shade. She said, this would look so much prettier on you. And she was right. It did look prettier on me. And I ended up buying that dress. I didn't go with the yellow one, thank goodness. She just said that yellow dress is somebody else, but that's not you. And I love that color, white, for example, like yellow. But I remember sometimes I'll see beautiful white dresses. They'll be like an eyelet, like for beautiful, delicate color dresses for like summer. But I just can't do them. Can't wear them. The same thing with yellow. The same thing with these icy pastel colors. Winters can wear those really, really well. Now, summers are also cool, and they have blue undertones, and they look great in some of these icy pastel colors, especially when they have a tan. But we'll get to summers in a minute. Okay, so this is a summer. Terry's a typical summer with her rosy pink skin tone, blue eyes, and ash blonde hair. To keep the blonde look, Terry highlights her hair with an ash blonde rinse. Summers look great. They don't do hair frosting anymore. I remember when I was really young, they used to sell frosting kits. And I think that was a popular thing to frost one's hair years ago. But it's only summers really who can pull that off. And also, when I was very young, and they still sell this product today, they sold a product called Sun-In. And it would show this gorgeous model, or sometimes they'd have like a couple, like a male and a female on the package, and they would be blonde and tanned. And when I was young, and it said all you had to do was spray it in your hair, go out in the sun, and it's going to lighten your hair. And I was thinking, oh wow, I'm going to look like that model on the package, you know, and I bought some. My dad really not knowing what the product is, you know, sometimes he would give me an allowance or he'd give me money to spend in a store like, you know, a drugstore, Walmart or Kmart back in the day when we used to have Kmart's, and I would, you know, I would spend my money on that junk. So I made the mistake of because I was blonde when I was a little, and I didn't realize that there was a difference between blondes. You've got your ash blondes, you've got your golden blondes. So that stuff turned my hair orange instead of lightening to a blonde. It turned it to like a reddish color. You know, I had like light brown hair by that time, or dark blonde, light brown, golden, and it turned it orange. And I also heard the same thing from other people in school, like, hey, that product doesn't work. It turned my hair orange because they had similar coloring to what I had. So what we didn't understand was that it only worked for a certain type of blonde hair. It didn't work for everybody. You have to have ash blonde hair for that stuff to work. So this is another Summer. She's wearing white, and I think that a lot of summers will look great in white when they have a suntan, and that's the thing. They can tan usually darker than springs do. I mean, not always, but usually they're not significantly darker than springs, but they can get a tan without really burning like springs do, or somebody who's a natural redhead, for example. Um, and summers will look great in the nautical look, you know, in the primary colors with a tan. All right, Barb is a freckled type. I don't know too many summers who are freckled, but I guess it's possible. Her summer eyes are deep blue with white flecks. Her hair is a medium brown. Summer is the only season who can successfully frost her hair because silver tones complement her blonde complexion. Summer's eyes can also be green, hazel, or occasionally rosy brown. Most summers have blonde, light brunette, or dark ash brown hair. The summer is flattered by soft colors with blue undertones. Note that Barb's dress is soft white, not ivory, and Terry's blouse is a blue pink rather than a coral pink. So that's another thing. I don't look good in blue pinks. I look better in coral pinks. And we're going to see the palettes, well, as we go along. This is the summer palette. I remember in this modeling school that I mentioned when we were being color coded or given our color analysis, whatever you want to call it, color analysis. There was a young lady there who was told that she was an autumn and she just hated all of the autumn colors. She was so unhappy with that. She would much prefer to the summer colors over the autumn colors, but sorry. You can wear whatever colors you want. It's just that, like I said, some colors look better on certain people more than they do on other people. Okay, this is an autumn, a vivid autumn with fiery red highlights in her hair and dark golden brown eyes. Most autumns have brown, green, or hazel eyes, but if you have bright turquoise eyes, usually the redheads, autumn hair invariably has gold or red highlights, whether blonde, brunette, or vivid redhead. Carrot tops are usually autumns, and that means somebody who's got really red hair. This is another autumn. Mara's skin tone is ivory, and she's especially flattered by the muted autumn tones, such as bittersweet red, the bittersweet red turtleneck she's wearing, and her oyster white jacket. Note the golden green color of Mara's eyes and her golden brown hair, typical of the autumn. Now, if I can't come across any spring colors, like when I'm shopping for clothing, which happens a lot. Sometimes it's really hard to find colors that suit me. I will choose autumn colors because they are still warm and I feel that some of them look good on me. Okay, here's another autumn. Colleen has a true peach skin tone underneath those freckles. Her avocado green eyes and golden blonde hair, so dark blonde, I know it looks brown in the picture, make her an autumn. Only an autumn can look this terrific in pumpkin and olive green. I think that I look good in pumpkin and olive green, and I wear those colors a lot. You know, since this book has been written back in the 1980s, you know, some people have expanded on this idea and they've divided these groups like into like subgroups. So I know, like, for example, in the spring category, you'll have like a warm spring, which is kind of close to autumn. That's probably what I am. And then you also have like a clear spring or true spring, bright spring. I can't remember. There's like different subgroups. Okay. So I think back when I had this done a long time ago, like I said, when I was 12, there was just the four groups. But since then, they've expanded on the ideas to have like these subgroups. So back then, I was told that I was a spring, but now that they have these subgroups, I think I'm probably a warm spring. That's just my guess. Because, like I said, if I can't find any spring colors, I will go with the autumn colors. Okay, this is a spring. She's very blonde. I was never really this blonde except for maybe when I was about 2 years old or 1 year old. Uh, then my hair darkened up to like a dark blonde to a light brown. That's how I would describe it. Light brown, golden brown. Okay, Holly's typical spring with her golden blonde hair. It's note that it's golden. It has golden undertones to it. It's not ash. And she wouldn't look good with platinum blonde hair. I mean, there is a difference. Though many springs are blonde in childhood, their hair usually darkens with age, retaining its golden cast, like mine did. Flaxen blondes like Holly and Susan are the lucky ones who stay blonde naturally. Springs can have blue, green, hazel, or amber eyes, usually with golden tones. The spring palette contains clear, warm colors, some delicate, some bright, all with yellow undertones. Note Holly's golden brown jacket. A darker brown is too harsh for her coloring. That's true. I will choose browns whenever I'm picking out a coat, for example, over black or navy any day of the week because it just looks better with my skin tone. The only exception is like a really dark espresso brown, which is not not that flattering for me, but it's still better than black. And camel is really my color. Spring. This is a redheaded spring. A lot of redheads, natural redheads, are autumns, but there are some natural redheads who do fall into the spring category. Her skin is very pale ivory and she's got blue eyes. And this is another spring. She's got a peaches and cream complexion, auburn hair, blue eyes, and freckles. Well, no, sorry. Doesn't say anything about freckles. And these are the spring colors. These are the colors that look best on me. Like I said, now that we have these subcategories, I really think that I'm a warm spring, which is kind of in between spring and autumn. Gray is absolutely one color that I cannot wear. Maybe this light warm gray is the exception. It just really clashes to me with like a golden hair color. It's the winters and the summers who look great in gray. And yellow has never really been my color, but there's a few yellows here that I supposedly can wear. The only one that I would choose is this one here. What is it? Light clear gold. Ivory is a much better color for me than pure white, definitely. So springs and autumns should stick with the off-whites that have yellowish undertones. And you'll note that there's really no pinks here. Pink has always been a favorite color of mine, but there's only like one pink here. So I can wear corals and peaches well. And the reds that I choose should be like warm reds that have orange in them, basically. Not blue reds. Okay, so it's telling you that you can wear any color. It just depends on the shade and the intensity. So it's showing you how do you make pink? You make pink by mixing red and white. So basically this is the same color, but it's showing you that Okay, this is like more like a pure red. This is a muted red with white added to it, pink. But these two have yellowish undertones. These have blue undertones. The same with the greens. These have yellowish undertones. These are cool shades. They have blue undertones. You see what I'm saying? These blues are a little bit warmer than these. These are cooler blues. So you can wear any color, but it depends on, whether it's a warm or cool. All right, I'm not going to read all of this. You really have to evaluate yourself and be honest with yourself. I mean, you may hate the colors of the winter palette or maybe the autumn palette. Maybe you prefer pastels or vice versa. Maybe you hate pastels and you prefer winter colors. I don't know, but I think it's best just to be honest with yourself. Okay, summer skin. Look for blue undertones. Summers usually have visible pink in their skin. And I made this mistake in high school. I bought some foundation. I think it was L'Oreal. I bought ivory, thinking, well, I'm white, I'm ivory, but it was actually a cool shade. And even though I'm very fair, I could see the difference. When I put this makeup on, I could see that, that there was a difference between the makeup, the color that I had on my face and my neck. I could see it, and it bothered me whenever I wore that shade of foundation. Um, some summers are very fair and look pale without a little blush. These fair summers may have a translucent quality to the skin, with little pink rings showing under the skin on the whitest parts of the body. They're usually blonde or were blonde in early childhood and have light brown hair as they mature. Some summers have very pink skin with high color, while others have rose beige skin ranging from fair to relatively deep rose beige. Other summers have sallow beige skin, making it hard to see the blue undertones. Sallow summers improve their appearance dramatically with summer's cool colors. Black summers often have soft grayish tone to their skin, and their skin is fairly light. If you are deciding between autumn and summer, summers usually tan, while autumns more often burn. Hair. As a child, summers are most often blonde, ranging from towhead to ash blonde to dark ash. As she matures, her hair tends to darken to a mousy color, so named because of its grayish cast. Brunette summers also have hair ranging from light to dark brown, again with the ash overtones. And this is another story that I had when I was younger, many years ago. I decided that I wanted to go blonde because I had been thinking about it for a long time. And I thought because I had been blonde as a child, I could be blonde as an adult. And I really didn't take this stuff that I learned into consideration when I was choosing a hair color. I just told my hairstylist that I didn't, because my own natural hair color is very warm. I told her that I didn't want to have red hair. You know what I mean? I was afraid that if I went blonde, my hair might look brassy, reddish, like strawberry blonde or something. So I wanted to have, just a light blonde color. She chose like a neutral blonde, which didn't go well with my skin tone. And unfortunately, I didn't really use a good judgment, and I just kept my hair that color for about 2 years. And it seemed like the more I lightened it, the lighter my hair actually got. So it was almost like a platinum blonde. I mean, it wasn't, but it was really pale. And I finally got tired of it, and I also got tired of having to maintain it, to go back to the salon every 3 weeks to have my roots touched up. So I finally went back to a darker color, and then I ended up where I am now, which is very close to what my natural hair color was or is. It's just so important, I think, to understand what your skin color is what your natural coloring is when you're choosing a hair color. It can really make a difference. I remember that when I went back to a darker, warmer color, a lot of people complimented me. I guess they didn't want to hurt my feelings whenever I, dyed my hair blonde. They just said, "Oh, it looks good." But when I went back to my natural color, I had some people tell me that it was a big improvement and that it made my complexion look warmer. The other color had not really been flattering, and then some people said it made me look washed out. I understood what they meant. So just be careful. Sometimes stylists don't know, so that's why I'm making this video. The stylist, I really liked her personality. She'd been cutting my hair for a few years. I trusted her opinion, but she really didn't know about these different seasons and what colors look best on other people. And we're not all the same. You can be fair skinned summer, but that doesn't mean that that you got the same color as a fair skinned spring and that you can wear the same colors. And you definitely can't wear the same hair colors. If we're all the same, for example, if all fair skinned people are cool, as some people tend to think, then why do they have, foundation shades and cool and warm shades? I mean, think about it. Because some fair skinned people are cool and some of them are warm. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to bother to read all the fine print. I'll skip to autumn now. Skin, look for golden undertones. The autumn comes in 3 varieties: the fair person with ivory or creamy peach skin, the true redhead, fair to dark, often with freckles, and the golden beige brunette, whose skin ranges from medium to deep copper, the latter having charcoal black hair. Many autumns are pale or sallow and especially need an orange toned rouge or blush to come alive. An autumn and a spring may have similar coloring, which is why I feel that I can wear autumn colors. But the autumn will usually have colorless cheeks, while spring's cheeks will be rosy. And that's the thing about springs. They usually tend to blush or flush the most out of any other season. You can tell when a spring is embarrassed. People can tell right away, especially when I was younger, when I'm embarrassed and when I'm blushed, because my face will turn red. So that's absolutely true. They will blush more than any other season. You can see that in them, An autumn and a spring. Let's see. Let me see. I already read that part. Some autumns are ruddy. However, they may look pink, but the pink is more peachy than blue. These autumns look good in a few summer colors, but really come to life in the true autumn palette. A few orientals and blacks are autumns if they have truly golden undertone, but most are other seasons, meaning that most of them are winters. Autumns can have golden blonde hair as a child, usually darkening as she matures. Autumn's hair is usually often touched with red or golden highlights. It ranges from auburn to copper, strawberry blonde to carrot top, dark golden blonde to warm brown. A few redheads are springs, having coloring too delicate to handle the stronger autumn palette. And that's true, the autumn palette is stronger than the spring palette, just like the winter palette is stronger than the summer palette. Many autumns are brunette, their hair usually having a gold or metallic red cast. Some autumns have ash blonde hair that has no warm highlights. This type of dirty blonde autumn can easily be confused with a summer. Occasionally, an autumn has charcoal black hair and swarthy skin. A red-headed autumn should cover gray, as it tends to come in yellow-gray, and the two-tone look is drab on her. However, once hair is completely gray, it can be most attractive. Okay, let's move on. Spring, that's what I am. Look for the golden undertones. Spring has the most delicate quality of all the seasonal types. We're the fairest, we have the most delicate coloring, and we're also the rarest, so you're not going to see a lot of spring colors in the department stores or clothing stores, not nearly as much as the other seasons. Spring skin is either creamy ivory, peachy pink, peach, or golden beige. Freckles comes naturally to her, though some springs have skin clear as glass, often called peaches and cream. The ivory spring appears to have golden flecks or highlights to her skin, while the peachy spring is likely to have peachy pink cheeks. Of all the seasons, springs are the most likely to have rosy cheeks and to flush easily. That's what I was just saying. We blush easily. Their skin is usually finely textured, and color seems to rush to the surface. Some springs are very ruddy and can be confused with summers because of their apparent pinkness. Even their knuckles look purple. Look at the parts of your body that don't blush to see whether you are peach or truly pink. Springs have an aliveness and brightness to their skin tone, even if they are extremely fair. Black and oriental springs have light golden brown skin. Spring's hair is flaxen blonde, yellow blonde. That's what color I was when I was a little girl, yellow blonde. Honey, strawberry, taffy red, or golden brown. Ash tone hair is not spring. In childhood, many springs are blonde, ranging from flaxen to honey to strawberry, but their hair often darkens with age. Some have very dark brown hair. A few springs are vivid carrot tops, missing being autumns by their need for clear colors. Gray does not blend well with golden hair of a spring, so she is wise to keep her hair dyed its youthful color until she has turned totally gray. Once the two-tone look is gone, her gray hair is a beautiful creamy white or pale dove gray. Eyes. Spring's eyes are likely to be blue, green, teal, or aqua, often with golden flecks in the iris or a golden cluster around the pupil. Some springs have eyes as clear as glass, giving the impression of a clear ring around the pupil. Many springs have blue eyes that appear to be a solid steel gray from a distance, but up close they are really blue and have a sunburst of white rays coming from the pupil. Inside the sunburst, you may see a donut tightly surrounding the pupil. Fibers radiate from the edge of the sunburst to the edge of the iris, much like the spokes of a wheel. There are some brown-eyed springs, but they are always golden brown or topaz. A spring's hazel eyes contains golden brown, green, and gold. Well-known springs include Sally Struthers. I disagree with that. I think she's probably summer, but okay, maybe I'm wrong. Joan Kennedy, I don't even know who that is. Zsa Zsa and Eva Gabor. Debbie Reynolds, I know who they are. Shirley Jones, I think I know who she is. Julie Andrews, yep, redhead. Arlene Dahl, and Marilyn Monroe. I would guess that Marilyn was a summer because she looks so great with platinum blonde hair. That's got to be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Or was her hair really platinum? Let me back up a little bit. Famous summers would be people like Cheryl Tiegs. Now, these are older celebs. Some of you may not know who she is, but Cheryl Tiegs was a supermodel, very famous. And another famous summer would be Farrah Fawcett. She's passed away several years ago. Charlie's Angels, I'm sure most of you know who she is. Pamela Anderson, probably Britney Spears, I would guess. It's probably a summer. I don't know. A famous spring would be, God, I can't even think of her name right now. I'm sorry, just let me continue. When it comes to me, I will... Nicole Kidman, that's who I'm talking about. Yeah, strawberry blonde hair. All right, famous winters, Selma Hayek, Penelope Cruz, probably. Who are the famous, okay, well-known autumns? Vanessa Redgrave, Carol Burnett. I don't know about Vanessa Redgrave. Carol Burnett for sure, redhead. Shirley MacLaine. I've always known her as being a blonde, so I don't know. Anne Margaret. She had red hair, she's gorgeous, but she wasn't a natural redhead, so I don't know. Toni Tennille. These are older celebs. I think this is from Captain and Tennille. Katharine Hepburn, Lucille Ball. We all know who she is. Redhead. Maggie Smith. I don't know who that is. Well-known summers. Princess Grace of Monaco. Yeah, icy, blonde, gorgeous. Queen Elizabeth, never would have guessed that. Never. Candice Bergen, okay. Cheryl Tiegs, definitely. Farrah Fawcett, oh, definitely. Nancy Kissinger, never really took a good look at her before. Caroline Kennedy. And who were famous winters? Let's go back. I missed that part. Well-known winters: Elizabeth Taylor, of course, Cher. We all know who they are: Jacqueline Onassis, Audrey Hepburn, Jacqueline Smith, Marie Osmond, Princess Caroline, Sally Fields, never would have guessed that, Diana Ross. Okay, I think I have talked about this as much as I want to. Okay. So I hope this helps shed some light on this theory of color be beautiful and what the seasons are and what colors work for each season. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about this. You know, knowing your season will definitely help you choose your makeup colors, especially when you want to order colors online. I'm sure most of you have probably already purchased makeup in a store, department store. You can't always rely on the people who work behind the counter. Yes, some of them are very good and knowledgeable. They know what they're talking about. But me knowing what I know, having been exposed to this idea as young as at the age of 12, and by the way, we were given little color swatches for us to carry around with us whenever we went shopping for clothes, so that we could try to pick out the colors that look best on us. And I lost mine. You can still order color swatches today. You can still order the book Color Me Beautiful today. And like I told you, they've since expanded on this idea. They have now subcategories or subgroups within each season. I don't know what all of them are. I think I know what spring is, which ones are for spring. Like I said, there's a warm spring, there's I think like a clear spring, true spring, bright spring, something like that. Um, I like to stick with what I know with this older theory. I don't get into all the subgroups, but it's definitely worth investigating if you want to. And you cannot always rely on what other people say. You have to go with your gut instinct. I mean, it's good, right, to ask for advice, but sometimes in my life I have taken the wrong advice. I've remember when I was much younger, seeing a model in a magazine and thinking that certain makeup colors looked great on her, and it was like you know a dark lipstick. It was almost like a wine color, or burgundy color. I was thinking that this woman's got color similar to mine. She's just maybe a little bit more tan than I am, but I was thinking I can definitely wear those colors, and then putting those colors on, and my husband telling me that I look like death. Like, oh, those colors don't look good on you at all. I mean, he was being honest. So, and I remember taking those same colors to a makeup artist because I was getting married. Actually, we weren't married at the time. Well, it was just before we got married, and taking those same colors because I was going to have my picture taken. So I went to a stylist before the photography session, and this is before the ceremony. I wanted to have pictures made in my dress, and I wanted to have my hair done up and have my makeup done. And I remember her telling me, "Oh, no, 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 these colors are all wrong for you. This is so not you." And then she was showing me some colors she had, and these work better with your coloring. But the point is that when I went to the department store and I bought those colors, the person behind the counter told me, like, "Oh yeah, those will work fine for you. Those are fine. You can definitely wear those. You can't always go by what people say who work in the stores at the makeup counters. Some of them don't know jack about anything. They'll tell you anything, or they may just be wrong." I think this is worth looking into. Try to figure out what season you are. That way you'll know what colors work best for you, especially when it comes to makeup, which is much more important than clothing, because you don't want to wear um, makeup that's wrong for your skin tone. Um, you don't want to wear something with blue undertones if you've got yellow undertones, or vice versa. You don't want to choose the wrong hair color. If you're a natural redhead, you probably shouldn't be a platinum blonde. It's probably not going to look good on you. Um, if you're a winter, you're not probably not going to look good with copper colored hair, especially if you're a dark winter. You know, just I mean, of course, you can do whatever you want, but it's worth looking into, investigating. It helps to be prepared to have knowledge. Knowledge is power whenever you're going shopping, whenever you're choosing a hair color. Don't always take the stylist's advice. Know who you are and know what season you are. The same thing goes for makeup and choosing clothing colors. Okay, so I hope that this video has helped inform some of you. I mean, I've just scratched the surface here. You know, you can find this book on Amazon. You can perhaps find it in a library, even though it was written in the 1980s. You know, this information doesn't change, this basic information. They've since expanded on the ideas, but the basic information is still the same. There's only 4 seasons. You know, last time I checked, winter, spring, summer, and fall. That hasn't changed either. Okay, guys, thanks for watching my video.